Being a single mom of two, I had a lot of just financial issues. So a lot of back debt that, I was trying to work on. I had a car that got repossessed, and then I ended up having to take out payday advance loans to try to catch up for that. So then I ended up getting notice that they wanted to do an eviction. I got about 2 months behind on rent, so we were looking at probably close to $3,000 behind. But my landlord at the time did not want to work out a payment arrangement. They weren't willing to wait. And so then we did get notice to vacate the premises. So we didn't have anywhere else to go. The homelessness rate is so high right now. There's a lot of people going through this. Our shelters are really full, and I didn't really know resources. I didn't know where to turn, where to look. And I was really scared just safety-wise. Are my kids gonna be safe? Am I gonna be safe? Are we gonna have to live in a car? And is that gonna be safe? It's kind of as a parent, you feel a little bit out of control of your situation, and to kind of lose all of that, the safety, and then also just kind of the stability was scary. So at first it was really intimidating just because we didn't know what to expect, but everyone was really, from host families to also just the other family that we were staying with, everyone was really nice. It was just more kind of how do we fit in here? It's a scary situation, it's new. What are our expectations? What do we expect from people? What do they expect from us? All of the churches involved that do the hosting are always really welcoming. They're just reassuring. They're you're in good hands, it's okay. Michelle had a lot of resources for me that I maybe didn't previously know about or would have not ever thought to utilize. Kind of in this situation, I just felt so at very rock bottom that I didn't even know where to start searching. For me, it was a hand up, not necessarily a hand out. So I just was really appreciative of just all the things she's ever been no, call this person, or try giving this person a call, or here, we'll sit down and call together. So it's also that support system that maybe you don't have from anybody else either. It's a non-judgmental, so it's a complete outsider looking in, helping you, so it's not someone super close to the situation. But at the same time, when you guys are helping us through our process, there is no judgment. There's nobody telling us that's the right or wrong way to do anything. It's just help. Kind of this whole situation is one big brick wall. And when you are chucking away, you're pulling a piece of brick each time. And each time you pull out a brick, you can see kind of what's behind it. You can't see the full picture, but you get a little glimpse. And so each time you get a glimpse of what's behind there and what you're looking forward to, it's just so much more rewarding, and gives you kind of that power when you don't think you have it to keep going, to be this is what's behind that wall. If I can just keep knocking down these barriers, knocking down this wall, I'm gonna get there. It's slow sometimes, and sometimes you feel you're not moving at all, but it's super rewarding. You guys always have really positive attitudes. Whenever I come into the office, it's always something positive. Someone's always oh, I'm so proud of you this week. You're doing so good. I heard you did this, good job, Like I said, I just never feel there's ever any judgment. And I've sat in Michelle's office and I've cried, and she's just sat and listened. And it's just like I said, it's really just the support, and it really does become a family of people, from the people who work there to the volunteers to the host families to the families that you're in the program with. Stay hopeful, stay positive, and even if you are in a shelter program, know that it's still temporary. I think that we get in a mindset that this is going to be forever. And it's not. It's really not. It's really what you're willing to kind of get up and do for yourself, and also reaching out to people who do have resources. And if you don't know where to reach out, go to a church, go to a community organization. They may know something that we're missing that we don't know about. And that's been the biggest thing with Family Promise for me, is I didn't know all the resources. I thought I did, and I really didn't. And it's a really great program as far as this program, but also I think people just need to remember that homelessness doesn't necessarily have to be your rock bottom. It can be for a little bit, but you don't have to sit there and stay there. Because, we would sit down at night and we would talk about it, and I'd be I promise you this is not forever. To have your kids look at you and not know, where you're gonna end up, and for them to not know what's happening next, that's your biggest thing as a parent, is you want to shelter your kids always. And for my kids, this is obviously my first time experiencing homelessness, so it's their first time too. And to be as old as they are, and they have a little bit more of an understanding of what's going on. It's not when they're little and you can just, it's pretend time, this was really real and raw for them. So then it made it really real and raw for me. But I just told them, you know, I'm working really hard, and you guys you're gonna get to see it every day. You're gonna get to see when it's hard. You're gonna get to see when it's fun. You're gonna get to see when it's great. When we're all done with this, you'll get to see. But I think also the biggest thing that I'm showing them is this is how you don't have this happen to you, you know? I've been able to, like I said, rectify a lot of like the debt and the stuff like that, but when I'm going through that, I'm also explaining to them, okay, so this is how you don't have to go into debt. This is how you avoid these, you know, situations. This is how, you know, pay your bills on time. If you can't, make sure that you're communicating with people why you can't and what's going on so that they're aware. Don't just let it pile up and keep happening. I think as a parent, it's just, you know, it's always our job to show them better and instruct them how to do better than what we did. So that's just what I'm trying to do every time. It's like, you can be an independent, strong woman and still have things happen to you, but you have to pick yourself back up and not let that be your defining moment. It's important as parents going through this process to remember that our kids are also going through it, and they're a lot smaller and a lot less capable to deal with those hard emotions. So patience is going to be your best friend. My biggest overall goal would be to eventually own my own home. Then, you know, it's kind of one of those things where you never have to lease, you never have to rent, you never have to anything. You have your own mortgage, and that's what you pay. You know, obviously you have other expenses that come with home owning, but you know, that's probably your best way to solidify a place where someone can't just throw you out whenever they feel like it for whatever they feel like it. It's been a humbling process, it's been an educational process, but it's a process. You know, every time I walk in the doors, someone's always happy to see me, someone's always smiling, always telling me how proud they are of me, what a good job I'm doing. I'm glad that we do have that support and that we do have people who love and care about us. And I mean, like I said, it's all been complete strangers that before this process, we didn't know any of you. We didn't know any of you, and not one person has ever, you know, greeted us in any other way but in a loving way. So I definitely do feel like we've built a family here for sure. And even with the other families that are in the program, I feel like they also become some extended family as well, because you're in this together, and regardless of what circumstances brought us all here, we're all here. We may be going through a separate battle individually, but that one is the same. Being homeless is the same for all of us.